One of the greatest tools is workflow, particularly as labor shortages continue to present a challenge in all manufacturing settings. We're entering the era of hyper automation, and book manufacturing is no exception. So, David, can you talk to me about how workflow tools help improve productivity? But more importantly, what do you see in terms of adoption in these types of solutions?
Sure, I'm happy to. And I would make the statement that if VIDAC's the eyes of automated book production, then workflow automation is the nervous system and spinal cord. So I'll open with the claim that 98% of the companies manufacturing books, especially digital books, can't make money without automation. And I'm going to make my case and I'll get into why, what automation does for you, and what to look for in an automation solution. So historically, our customers, the publishers, prided themselves on literary values. It was a gentlemanly thing. They fought over who would win the right to publish the great statesman's book or the great poet's book, even though the accounting guys knew it was going to lose money for the firm. But by the time of Gordon Gekko and leveraged buyouts, there was a massive shift to financial values. And that meant that the great statesman was out, the great poet was out, and Madonna was in. So that's what happened in the publishing realm, which drove what happened in our world in book manufacturing, because the publishers hired MBAs who were all about risk mitigation and profitability. And from their perspective, that meant the model of relatively long runs and warehousing were giving way to short runs and fast turnarounds for a number of reasons. Number one, control the losses on unpopular titles. And remember, most titles do not make money. Reduce warehouse and remainder costs. I have seen models where the warehousing costs are equal to the manufacturing costs. And then finally, capture the revenue from the backlist and even out of print titles. So what did that do to us? Well, the publishers and the retailers had the upper hand, and we were kind of squeezed in the middle. We didn't have a lot of market power. So they were demanding that we provide short runs even as early as 1989. And in some cases, they even got Book of One that far back, and it was Ardonnelly that was doing it. So about that time, you had the rise of the Xerox Docutech and later digital webs, but it was still getting hard to make money. For example, an OSE demand stream 8090 web, which Guy had a lot to do with, delivered lower per unit direct manufacturing costs than the most efficient offset, which would have been a Timpson's T48 probably, at any unit count below about 450. Does that sound about right, Guy?
Yes, I would say that's about right.
But here's the rub. As run lengths decrease, the cost of order management, job preparation, scheduling, error recovery, we'll have a lot to say about that, and then fulfillment costs, and then finally preparing and moving data into the MIS. Those costs far exceed the cost of direct manufacturing, and that can happen at unit orders even over 100. So automation goes after those things. For example, our Alchemy book software automates order ingestion. Jobs are automatically created from orders. Preparation, including such things as impositioning and barcoding, are automated. Production queues are populated based on business rules, such as trim size, paper, SLA, etc. That means that your Prosper 20 keeps running. Batches are created so that if you have 100 books of one, it turns into a job of 100, even as the software keeps track of where each one of those individual books will go. Finally, fulfillment is automated, including communicating with multiple existing systems. So automation's bottom line, it's the ability to process more orders per unit of time at lower cost with fewer people. Increase the utilization of your expensive capital assets. That's the Prosper, that's the finishing line, etc., resulting in greater profitability. So let's talk about some things to consider if you are in the midst of planning an automation initiative. First, in my experience over the past couple decades or so, most people have some automation in place. If they're in business, they've got some automation in place. It could be pre-flight and queuing. It could be barcoding in position. And many people, they're happy with the automation they have and they don't want to throw it out and start over. So whoever your automation vendor is, they should be able to work with what you have while still giving you a single comprehensive dashboard view of everything going on up and down the production line. Number two, it should be low code and keep the power in the business user's hand. That is, no heavy lift from your IT folks or needing the vendor to get involved every time you need to add a new product or workflow. In other words, it should integrate with your existing production and MIS systems, communicate up and down the manufacturing process, be built on a robust API and database, and be industry standard compliant, JDF, JMF. We need to tell Bob what we need from him in order for him to be able to do it. I'd like to finish with two thoughts to this question. Some plant managers have said to me over the years, we have a really smart programmer and he should be able to do a lot of this. Maybe, but I'll tell you a story. Amazon, the company, has arguably the most sophisticated storefront on the planet. They also have arguably the world's best fulfillment capability. I mean, they have more programmers than IBM. They know how to write code. But when they went into the book manufacturing business, they bought book manufacturing software. They didn't build it, they bought it. Second, it's been a while since I did actual research looking at people's financials, but it was my experience and observation that a single-digit percentage increase on your balance sheet, your investment, will yield a double-digit percent improvement in your income statement. So here's my summary. With Alchemy Books, orders are deconstructed into line items like book covers, text covers, for batch production with jobs from other customer orders. Once produced, they're reconstructed into their original orders for fulfillment. So Alchemy Books maintains the parent-child relationship of the order, items, and jobs within its database. The integrity of all order items and jobs is maintained with minimal human intervention due to constant bidirectional communication between on-floor processes to the Alchemy Books tracking module. That means operators and customer service representatives gain immediate access to order status and component location anytime within the process through centralized control via interactive dashboards.